What's going on, everybody? Hey, 905 in the neighborhood being FM 100.3 KFAN. This is 9 to noon, and I'm Paul Allen, your master mixer of the very much alive montage is Eric Nordquist. He's mad producer, and the Minnesota Vikings got out of Jacksonville feeling alive, and some pertinent Vikings radio network phrases absolutely are in play. And good morning from yours truly. Doesn't matter how you get to the winner's circle as long as we all get there and are getting our pictures taken, and that's what transpired yesterday.
Let's all gritty in the Crescent City.
Bursich. Don't tell me how choppy the water is. Just get the boat to the shore.
New Orleans Cajun, Super Bowl ragin'.
Let's marathon this mug to start 9 to noon, courtesy of FVP Batteries and FVPparts.com. Grinder. No offensive touchdowns, 2 consecutive first halves. Darnold, 3 picks for the first time since 2021 and 0 touchdowns for the second time since wearing the colors, and both for victories. And Parker Romo, who knew? First National Football League game, and new main man goes 4 for 4 on field goals and scores all of our points. Parker Romo. And he neutralized the dangerous Devin Duvernay with a bunch of touchbacks. Grinding, no doubt. But victory number 7 and a joyous locker room following the game transpired. So I whipped out the microphone. Excuse me while I whip out this microphone, and did some drive-bys beginning with Byron Murphy Jr. I'm like, interceptions, 3 consecutive games, man. That game was weird.
It definitely was a little weird game today. Obviously, but on the defensive side of the ball, I felt like we really definitely showed who we were as a defense. Got into some situation, we had to go back on the field, got the stop. So it just showed, the defense is really, hey, watch out, that's Holly. But this showed that the defense was really locked in today, and we're getting back to the details of everyone just sticking and doing their jobs.
And when you say we showed really who this defense is, like, who is this defense?
Man, just a whole bunch of dogs making plays, I would say. We really don't know who's going to make a play, but we always know Coach Flo puts us in great position to make plays. So whoever makes that play, we know it's coming. So, like I said before, just defense is we do a hell of a job, and everyone really makes plays. Everyone eats.
Blake Cashman, how great was it having Blake back?
Great feeling. Obviously, one of the leaders in our room. Communication, backer. He's always communicating to us. Obviously, he's a playmaker. And to have someone out there like that, just to be a dog with you, just feels good and feels better.
I'm not going to, ask you to, think back of all the times of possession games that you played in all the way back to Arizona. But, 42 minutes possession for the Vikings, that keeps you guys nothing but rested. Really helped at the end, didn't it?
It definitely felt like I was sitting on the bench for a long time. Our offense did a great job keeping the ball. And like I said, we just knew, like, any situation that happened, we chilled for a little bit. Offense was running the ball, getting down the field. We just had to go in and get a stop no matter the situation. And like I said before, defense really stood up, and we showed what we were about today.
Last one. When you learn Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback, now Trevor Lawrence, Byron Murphy Jr.'s pick 6 in his career came from the arm of Trevor Lawrence. So I was like all ready for that, and they go with Mac Jones. And, man, you guys really made a tough day for Mac Jones, no doubt about that. Brian Thomas Jr., that rookie, we heard a lot about. He didn't really impact the game. But when it's going to be Mac Jones, how much does that change?
It definitely changes. Obviously a quarterback like Trevor, definitely respect to him, a great quarterback. But someone to come in, play all those games, and then Mac Jones just comes in, we got to give him different looks. Obviously, Mac Jones, he's a great quarterback as well, but when you give him different looks, we felt like we could definitely get some, picks in our hands, which, kind of worked out. Like I said before, we just knew if we had to put him in passing situations that we were going to come out on top.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Byron Murphy Jr., interceptions in 3 consecutive games. I can roll over here with these drive-bys. Cam.
When it's side by side.
Cam. Hi, Josh. How are you? Congratulations.
APA, how you doing?
Pretty good. I don't know how. I know, but I don't know how often, Josh, you do the pregame talk, like in the circle and stuff. Every week? Okay, I had my binoculars on you this week. You got everybody all fired up today, man. Is that the plan?
That's the plan every week. And he's back home in Florida, so he had to turn us up. It had to be a little extra. It had to be, He knew today would be the day for the defense because Josh was turning us up all week.
I had to turn us up all week.
Yeah, it was all turned up. Defense was fantastic. And, Cam, I came over here. That catch wasn't easy, man. I mean, that was a hard catch that you made. Knee down at the one, big deal. But that was a hard catch.
Yeah, shout out to Adam, our equipment guy. Every Friday, we do a deep ball drill where he just launches the ball as far as he can. If we can somehow pull up the clips of us at practice doing it somewhere. But that's really just repping it every single week, because you never know when you'll be put in that situation to catch a tough ball like that. So I was glad that I was in there to be able to get that, and it was good to get it, and all glory to God.
Hey, Cam, indeed, amen. This could have been a week where if O'Connell had allowed you guys to bring like a magazine or your phones on the sideline, you actually needed something to do because of that time of possession thing, man. 42 and change for the Vikings, 17 and change for the Jaguars. That had to keep you fresh at the end of the game, right?
Yeah, my legs started getting a little tired sitting down for so long. But it was one of those games where just on defense, we just kept our head down, and we knew what type of game it was. It was, especially the opposing defense was playing well, but we went out there and we just enjoyed whatever situation it was, whether it's responding from adversity or just going out there on just a routine series. We knew we had to go out and show up.
Was it a movie, and if so, was it a happy ending to the movie?
Yeah, this is always going to be a movie, and I love being a star of it.
To a movie, Harrison Smith. Hey, Harrison. How about all these kids running around, man? I mean, not only, what I imagine it's probably, I don't want to say reinvigorated, but I mean, you're having a fantastic season, man. You got all these youngsters running around on the defense. But, the time of possession thing today, I've talked to Cam Bynum and Byron Murphy Jr. about that, where they're like, I just wanted to get back out there. I just wanted to get back out there. Veterans enjoy the rest, right? It takes some reps off the legs.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you got a group like this who, like you said, you got some youth out there that they want to make their mark. Like, I want to be out there with them, and I'm trying to make my plays too, but I love watching them make plays, man. It's awesome. A great play by Murph, great catch by Cam. Like, it's a hard adjustment there. Big time play in a big time moment.
What do you like about this defense? I mean, we're 9 games into this thing, so we're in the second half of the season, and just overall the defense just continues to persevere.
Yeah, I think the sentiment of them saying that they want to get back on the field, like, that sounds messed up, right? But when you have that mentality and you're just like, I don't care what the situation is, I don't care what the score is, I don't care whatever, like, I want to go play. That's going to go a long way, especially as the season goes on and things kind of narrow. So when you got a group like that, I like playing with that group any day.
Last one, you're a communication guy, and this is in no way to say Ivan Pace Jr. wearing the green dot without Cashman did a poor job. He didn't. But when you have those both there, you get Gink in his spot, everybody's in their spot. How much did that help?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, like, Ivan did a great job when he was doing it, but having Cash out there, just the experience he has, everything he can do on the football field, it just adds another piece. And he's a multiplier guy, so getting everybody back is great.
You're fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Pierre.
Harrison Smith, after Cam Bynum and Byron Murphy Jr. and a 5-point Vikings victory. Defense. We're about a year removed from Dobbs. Ba-da-da-da-da. Dobbs! Da-da-da-da-da!
Dogs!
All right, 3-2. Cashy returned. Under the cover of darkness, Blake Cashman back. Cashy returned. Got the first sack in the game, trucked somebody, then the Stripes actually saw a face mask, but it was great having Cashy back. Time of possession, though, I'm sure it was discussed frequently, or at least discussed on Fanline, discussed on the Power Trip Morning Show.
Unbelievable how dominant it was.
Unbelievable. 42 and change to 17 and change.
How about Cam Bynum, by the way? He's going to end up in the PST tournament because he said his legs started to get tired from sitting around for so long.
Dead legs, though. You see, with that time of possession scenario, it was supposed to go that way against a Jacksonville squad, second last in the NFL possessing the ball. The Jacksonville Jaguars had not won the turnover battle all 9 of their games and were +3 in midway through the fourth quarter. I mean, past midway through the fourth quarter. Are you kidding me with that? Then Andrew Van Ginkel smashed McCorkle.
The Vikings have sacked Mac Jones 2 times, and he goes out of the shotgun 1st and 10 from his own 30. Tank Bigsby by his side. Here's Van Ginkel. Down goes Mac Jones. Andrew Van Ginkel with his 6th sack this season.
And old Michael McCorkle Jones, otherwise known as Mac Jones, was not the same after that hit.
Harrison Phillips recovers that fumble, 6:38 left in the game, +3 in the turnover margin until that moment.
Amazingly, the Jags went from +3 to even in the final 6.5 minutes of the game. 3 gives in the final 6.5 minutes of the game. And that's what 2-8 teams do. Cashy, Blake Cashman, Eden Prairie, go nuts. Cashy, a beloved inside linebacker, made his return and generated the first of 3 sacks. He went to trucking a Jags offensive lineman on what looked to be his 2nd sack, but as we mentioned earlier, he grabbed McCorkle's face mask, and the play was nullified. But awesome having Blake Cashman back in the fold. Ben Lieber ran him down after the game.
All right, you guys, it's so good to have this guy back. Blake Cashman, you led the team with 5 tackles. You had a huge sack. Ben Ginkel, give you a little shout out. So, I mean, after missing a few games, how's it all feel?
Feels great to be back out there. You know, as we players in the locker room here say, back in the party. And, you know, to have a defensive outputting like that was great. You know, that was a gritty, hard-fought win, and I'm really proud to be out there with my teammates, and, you know, we were able to pull off such a tough, fought-out victory.
You know, when it comes to their game plan and all that stuff, and you guys have to get ready, you guys, I'm sure, had to get ready during the course of the week to see Trevor Lawrence, also to see Mac Jones. When you guys heard it was going to be Mac Jones, did anything change defensively?
Not necessarily. You know, we always respect our opponent. You know, both quarterbacks have been in our starting quarterbacks in this league. But, you know, with what we were going to do, what our plan was defensively was strictly all about us. And, you know, I think we did a great job. You know, they got 1 drive on us, moved the ball with a couple of explosive plays. But,
he's back, baby.
But, you know, overall, you know, we kept them in check, kept the ball in front of us, and started knocking out the run. And then the 4th quarter, when we needed to take the ball away, we did that. And, you know, that helped get the victory.
Well, I know obviously the one takeaway was sort of a botched snap. Maybe not much that you guys did, just being opportunistic. But did you guys change anything going into that 4th quarter to get those 3 consecutive takeaways?
Not necessarily in the 4th quarter, but in halftime, we actually put in about 4 different plays that were all based off the offensive formation. You know, they're all sim pressures, and you know, we knew where we wanted to attack them, and you know, it's plays we ran before, but we haven't ran them in a few weeks. But you know, we got smart players over here, guys that, you know, fully understand, you know, our scheme and what we're trying to accomplish, and we went and executed at a high level.
So outside of the halftime adjustments, I was talking to Harrison Phillips about this on the field. How much did you feel that time of possession where our offense had the ball for almost 42 minutes to their 18? As a defender, like, did that just automatically keep you fresh and ready to go out there? Did you feel that difference?
Absolutely. I think when we started the 2nd quarter, I looked at our linebacker Kamu, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm sweating right now. But our offense, you know, they did a great job moving the rock, and I know they're frustrated, you know, not finishing drives in the red zone with the turnovers, but with the way we move the ball offensively, our run game, we believe in them. We believe in Sam. You know, he is everything that our offense needs, and you know, this was a game that we're going to learn from offensively, and we're going to bounce back, and they're going to, you know, play outstanding the rest of the year.
7-2, man. It's good to have you back. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Beloved Nachito, Ben Lieber, with Blake Cashman following a 5-point victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Minnesota Vikings look to finish and complete a sweep of the downtrodden AFC South. Next week, next Sunday at noon, right here on FM 100.3 KFAN. Sacks, 3 of them, meaning the Vikings have 30 sacks on the season. That ties the 2014 team for the most sacks in the history of the program through 9 games. The former Jaguar, Cam Robinson, Minnesota Vikings left tackle, playing in his second game, both against familiar foes. Indianapolis Colts with DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart and Kwity Paye, though, last week, and familiar foes in that all these Jaguars a month ago were his teammates. And I don't know what my man has against Darnell Savage, but that hit he put on him after the interception right next to the sideline.
I always love that one.
You can tell Cam Robinson was very popular within the Jaguars covenant because he blasts Darnell Savage, a safety, the former Packer, into the sideline. And 9.6 out of 10 times, you have 20 players jumping on one man for blasting their cohort. But Cam was, I think somebody even helped him up. And I'm like, what's everybody have against Darnell Savage here? Because nobody went after Cam Robinson on that.
There was a mob over there, but you could absolutely tell, like, no, but they're like, I don't want to do this. Like, we'll text later and we'll figure it out. But let's just move on.
They're like, fourth play of the game, Josh Hines Allen got him anyway and trucked him back into the backfield, so that's going to be good enough. And quite honestly, we miss you, Cam. The former Jag knew he was in a meat grinder from the outset of the game. Like I said, when Josh Hines Allen plowed him backwards about 6 yards, but the play ended up being successful, and Cam got out of it alive with a victory against that team for whom he played a month ago and the first 7.5 years of his career. And finally, props to Justin Jefferson. Didn't score and had 48 yards, but what was covered as aggressively as I can remember, and B, passed Adam Thielen for fourth most receiving yards in the history of the team. And we're 4.5 years into this illustrious career. He's already fourth in the history of a football team, 4.5 years into it. And this team's had nice receivers for decade after decade after decade. And when I say that Justin Jefferson was covered as aggressively as I can remember, that's a common thread that's going to play into pressure points later today, nearing the end of the radio show, then markedly more on it tomorrow, because there's a common thread that's developing here. And when we got back from London and Aaron Jones left that game against the New York Jets, one thing that I shared was the Jets played the defense they were playing for all of one series. And then with no Aaron Jones, they're like, all right, well, I mean, if that guy or that guy or that guy's going to beat us, then we'll adjust. But until you show us that has merit, we're not going to adjust. And what does that mean? That means we're going to rush 4 and drop 7. That means we're going to rush 3 and drop 8. That means we're going to rush 2 and drop 9. The Colts followed the blueprint, as did the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's something through which Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold are going to have to work. Now, Kevin O'Connell joins 9 to noon tomorrow at 11 a.m. When we are over at the Vikings facility, courtesy of Sukup and Sukup.com. But with Justin, I watched all of Darnold's throws this morning. It's unbelievable, the coverage that he saw in that game. I mean, it's like there was one time I found he truly was single covered when he broke right on a slant. It led to the first interception, and my man who was covering him fouled him, and it wasn't called. I mean, he just flat ran into him, and it should have been pass interference. It was a little on the dicey side, but nevertheless, that's like the only time I could find Justin single covered in this game. One time from all those throws. And that plays into the pressure points narrative that will start today and continue tomorrow. Like, let me whet your appetite. Nordo, may I tease you?
Yes.
So for pressure points coming up later today, Darnold's completions by quarters this year, all right, through 9 games.
Right.
His completion percentage in the first quarter is 71.6. In the second, it's 74. In the third, it's 58.7. And in the fourth, it's 50%.
Oh, my gosh.
We got a little something developing there that involves a deep dive that yours truly will handle today. Secondly, with Darnold, of his 26 sacks, 14 have come in the second quarter.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, more than half the sacks are coming in one quarter. So there are things that defenses are starting a certain way, they're adjusting, and then they're adjusting even more, but you have to take the score of the game and like where you start on the field and down in distance on second and third down, stuff like that. That plays into these completion percentages. Just, I mean, with all due respect, falling off a cliff in quarters 3 and 4. I'm excited for this later, and we will continue it tomorrow. So the Vikings improved to 7-2. Jefferson's presence paved the way for others to prosper. Now, that's part of the equation, too. And that's going to be a big part of the conclusion of pressure points involving Sam Darnold, where yours truly couldn't have said it any more after they signed Sam Darnold. The pressure here is on Sam Darnold because we've seen what the Minnesota Vikings offense is capable of when it runs decently. It generally passes explosively. So Darnold comes into a situation everybody knows that is set up for him to succeed. And for the most part, he has succeeded. But the point of pressure into game number 10, most of it falls squarely on the shoulders of Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold. And getting the quarterback right into the Titans game is the A-top because all three of his picks were born of forcing it to Justin. All three of them born of forcing it to Justin. There was a touchdown potentially to Aaron Jones that was missed during the equation, and that ain't good. That led to misfires and overthrows, and obviously it has to improve moving forward. There are so many good things that Sam Darnold did with his arm yesterday, specifically with Josh Oliver and TJ Hawkinson. He had a 20-yard pass near the sideline to Jordan Addison that was a masterpiece. But when you give it away 3 times and you go for 3 in the red zone, that's rightfully what people are going to remember, and that's going to be an impression that is indelible and something through which you have to work. They ran effectively. The defense was fantastic, and the new kicker, Parker Romo, went 4 for 4. Dissecting that today and the rest of the week has some A topic to it. We're going to drop in some talkbacks with the free iHeartRadio app. A couple of segments from now, we'll play them back in the neighborhood of 9:50. Free iHeartRadio app, find the microphone, file a report over the course of 30 seconds. The Detroit Lions won a spine tingler last night, and the Chicago Bears lost to the New England Patriots, and that bad situation got worse yesterday. Holy cow, is it hot there? It's hot in Dallas. Michael Parsons, paraphrasing, said something about his head coach, Mike McCarthy. It's like McCarthy can leave whenever he wants.
I always love that one.
Are you kidding me with that from a player on a team with a current head coach of his team? That's crazy. You got Auburn basketball players fighting on planes. You got Cam Robinson getting out of a potential scuffle alive. This is 9 to noon, and we're very excited for it. All of that is courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. Vikes Bites are around the corner. I'm Paul Allen. Good morning, and welcome to your Cash Thing Leader.
The Fan, along with 2 men in a junk truck, they want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword Bills. You might win $1,000 with the keyword Bills at KFAN.com.
Nordo put me on a covenant cleanup provided by Darnold's completions by quarters. I looked at the wrong graph. It's Darnold this season through 9 games has a completion percentage in the first quarter of nearly 79. In the second quarter, dips to 60. Out of halftime, KO doing his thing, 77.8. And then in the fourth quarter, 53.8. Also, of his 26 sacks, 9 have come in the second quarter and 9 have come in the fourth quarter.
So it's 18 out of 26?
Yes. I don't know if there's much to be learned there, but I appreciate you on that covenant cleanup presented by or provided by 78 in the first, 60 in the second, 70, a high 77 in the third, 53-8 in the fourth. Thank you for the cleanup.
No, it's good, but it will deserve conversation, PA. Excited to talk about it in Pressure Points later today and tomorrow. Happy TCO Day. Looking forward to that. There is kind of this perception as an outsider, kind of the scripted versus the unscripted. So you come out of the gates to start the game with your hair on fire. It's so seamless. And unfortunately, yesterday, you end up settling for an early Parker Romo field goal. But it's been game by game by game. We've talked about the points disparity specifically in the first quarter. And this may have been the first game, actually, yesterday where the Vikings actually did not lead after the first quarter. And so how that happens to start the game, how it happens out of the breaks and third quarters, very intriguing with our favorite QB on our favorite team. And I want to start here with Vikes Bites, though. Does Blake Cashman returning make this guy better?
Mac Jones, 8 of 11, 73 yards, a rushing touchdown. Goes back to pass on first down. He's sacked! Mac Jones, they sack Mac back by the 20. Ivan Pace Jr., the one to get him. Loss of 8, third sack this season for Ivan Pace Jr.
You know, statistically, if you're just looking at the box score, there weren't, a 15 tackle game to be had by anybody because the defense was never freaking on the field, which was awesome. That time of possession was so paramount, specifically later in the game. But Ivan Pace, take the green dot away. Now you're just asking a guy to make plays against the run. He's out in coverage and all of those things. My first question would be simply enough. In some ways, does Cashman returning and taking over those duties again, does that potentially make Ivan Pace better now that Cash is back in the mix?
Absolutely. Less to do for Ivan Pace Jr. Can play more freely. Did a pretty good job, I would assume, as, quote, green dot, end quote, guy, meaning calling the defense in the 3 without Cashman. But, yes, it seems to permit Ivan Pace Jr. to play more freely. But now we're not going to see Andrew Van Ginkel lined up inside out of necessity.
Right.
So you're going to get that down goes Mac Jones moment on a gotcha because the Jags were completely fooled. So you're going to get everybody, for the most part, in the spots in which they're supposed to be. That led this defense to the pick sixes and all the sacks. I think they have 30, and all the interceptions and stuff like that. They have 15, which leads the NFL. So Blake Cashman is the heart and soul of the Minnesota Vikings defense.
Vikes Bites! And thank you, Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef for providing Vikes Bites.
Hold on.
Yes.
Ready?
Okay.
Darnold's yards per attempt on the season is 8.2, which is not bad.
We like that.
It dipped 0.4 in yesterday's game. But his yards per attempt this season in the red zone, 3.8. Okay, now the red zone only has 20 yards. So, you can extrapolate it however you want. It's just when you go over 3 in the red zone and you see a 3.8.
I always love that
I'm
one.
like, man, can it at least be a little bit over 4? But anyway.
Yeah. Thank you, Thousand Hills. Thank you, TJ Hawkinson yesterday, PA. He led all receivers, 8 catches, 72 yards on 9 targets. And I got this, of course, I do Nordo's numbers with zone coverage every week, and they sent me a number, I think it's 4, as in the number of third down conversions by TJ Hawkinson via reception.
Yeah.
Had another nice 10 or 11 yard grab on a second down to move the chains. TJ Hawkinson, I got to be honest, you look at those interceptions, you feel like the QB was forcing that thing in there. I think he was. But you look at TJ Hawkinson and the things he was able to do yesterday, Sam, was with not only Hawk, but you have Josh Oliver as well. Were the tight ends something that we kind of could have had anytime and every time we wanted it yesterday?
Yes.
To the degree that where Hawkinson could have had 12 catches. Josh Oliver for 4 and 52. He could have had another 5, 6, 7 grabs. I thought the tight ends were open for business all day. I was almost kind of disappointed we didn't use them more.
Top of the head, what did the Vikings rush for yesterday?
I was like $160. $169.
How many? So and I should
40
have,
carries.
Right.
43 total. Yeah.
Compared to how many passes?
24. Well, no, not attempts, excuse me.
Attempts, yeah.
38. So it's 43 to 38.
Yeah, right.
Pretty balanced.
I mean, seriously, who is Kevin O'Connell here? I mean, his first year, he passes 61% of the time. Would have thrown it 80 if they had let him.
Well, he's been watching PJ's team.
Yeah, well, all you guys wanted running balance.
I always love that.
Here it is. Sure looks good, doesn't it? That's just crap. Sure glad we waited for that with bated breath. I'm just playing. Kevin O'Connell, 11 o'clock tomorrow. They got the money, and that's all that matters at this stage of the equation. But O'Connell referenced it in his post-game press conference where, I mean, it was with Addison and Jefferson on the outside and Jones, when he would leave the backfield, swinging to the outside. You had Jaguars with hair on fire going to those guys.
Yep.
I mean, it'll take all of 10 minutes if you want after the show or tomorrow. I'll show you all of Darnold's passes. It's unbelievable what you see with the bracket coverage from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, I saw some of it with the Indianapolis Colts, but it wasn't this aggressive. The middle, you're right. The middle was open. O'Connell talked about it. They took it to a certain extent, as much as they wanted it. But there just came a time where Sam he didn't get jumpy. It's not like Kirk O'Chain jumpy with the feet. Because if Sam did that, he would not maneuver and be as elusive as he is. And that's about as good as I've seen from a quarterback here with the Minnesota Vikings, moving around in the pocket, even better than Dante. Dante wasn't a big, jump cut elusive guy. Dante he was fast, and he would kind of run through you or make one move and run around you.
I mean, he played at 260, 265, right? Didn't he? Dante did?
Yep. Darnold makes moves. I mean, Darnold, dips his shoulders and switches the ball from left hand to right. I mean, he makes moves like a running back. This is, I can just tell right now that I'm going to tease this Tuesday pressure points provided by Sukup about 30 times because we keep referencing things that are in it. It's trying too hard to get the ball to Justin Jefferson for whatever the reason. Trying too hard to get the ball to Justin Jefferson messed things up yesterday. And, there are some plays that I would look back and I'd see Justin. He doesn't throw his arms in the air. He doesn't slouch his shoulders. The body language is not like an F or a D or even a C minus, but you can tell a little bit after some of these plays that Justin is frustrated and he wants the ball.
Yeah.
But it's not that he's mad that he's not getting the ball from the person throwing the ball. It's just he's running into these freaking meat grinders every single play, and that just has to be frustrating. So meshing all of that as part of pressure points starting later and daggering it tomorrow. Lamar Jackson might be the MVP in the National Football League. His yards per attempt in the red zone, 5.6.
I always love that one.
It's 5.6. So even though you only have 20 yards to negotiate, it still can be better than 3.8. I just know it can.
It certainly can. You mentioned I'm just done trying. A week ago, after the Colts game, PA, you could have looked at that game and said in some ways the offense was unlocked when they started getting the ball to Justin Jefferson. And he had that drive where I think it was 2 or 3 receptions on that drive. You get yourself into the end zone in the third quarter. And it's one of those things where after the game and a victory, you're talking, well, once in a while, you just have to go to your star. And then a week later, we're having a conversation, albeit in a victory.
Yeah.
A victory in which, and I love the way you put it, and I was on board with it. It's like, this is a team you got to hang 40 on. They're 2-7. They're awful. You're going to have opportunities all day. And the only style points we saw was from the new kicker, who went 4 for 4.
But see, that's what makes wagering on over-unders or predicting them so difficult.
Ugh.
Because the defense Jacksonville played against the Vikings is mostly not the defense I saw them play against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
This was so they can dictate if you're going to beat us, it's going to be 1,000 cuts instead of chopping off somebody's head with this deep stuff to 18 or 3. I'm not kidding you. I think he was only single covered one time in the entire game, Justin Jefferson. And I am a fan. If Justin is involved deep with 2 players, think Buffalo game,
right?
2 players and a 50-50, which could be a 33-67 with 3 players involved, 2 for the adversary. I'm not negative on throwing the ball to him in those situations. Where I get negative...
You mean where it's 4th and 10 and the game's on the line or whatever it was?
Where I get negative... There we go, Paul! Sometimes is it's just, it seems like Sam feels like he's obligated to throw the ball there because Justin hasn't seen a look in X amount of minutes or hours or quarters.
Yeah.
So if it's one-on-one down the sideline, you're never going to get that anymore. But if that's the case, 50-50, throw it up, Justin will win. If it's 1-on-2, occasionally, think of there was a pass back right of the end zone. Darnold purposely threw over Jefferson because the coverage got super, super grimy.
Was that the fade on 3rd down?
Yes, and Darnold threw it hard. But so he was going to give it a try there, but then the Jags ran their 3rd guy over. So now we're looking at 3 against 1. I mean, now it's a 25-75. It doesn't make sense to do that. But it does make sense to find Justin.
It does.
But it doesn't make sense to find Justin when he's right next to Brandon Powell, back center of the end zone, and Aaron Jones, after getting waylaid and buried off the line of scrimmage. Aaron Jones. I mean, seriously, covenant clap for this guy. I love Aaron Jones, man. I mean, he's salt of the earth. He's tough as nails. Came back in that game yesterday, everybody knows. But when you see the interception back center of the end zone, forcing it to Justin... Jones off the line of scrimmage got murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, he got trucked.
He got crushed.
And he got up and went streaking across the middle of the field, and he would have scored a touchdown.
It was perfect.
So if you want to get to the Super Bowl, and I know this, I know this is every single team that has a chance to get to the playoffs, get to the conference championship, stuff like they all can say this. It's just, this is our fishbowl. But those have to be closed on.
Yep.
You have to close on those.
Yeah, they dropped from top 10 in the red zone after yesterday. They were 0 of 5 in the red zone. They're now, I think, 20th in the NFL, just over 50%.
0 for 5 yesterday?
They were 0 for 5 yesterday, yeah.
Holy cow.
Couple of field goals, couple of picks, and ugh.
Those were Vikes Bites that indeed were biting. And when we return, we're going to scoot around the National Football League in truncated fashion and analyze the lots of lives belonging to others at FM 100.3 KFAN.
You homer! Homer! Oh, good.
Hey, PA, I know you were busy yesterday with the Jacksonville affair. I don't know if you saw the end of this Commanders-Steelers game, but listen to this highlight.
Tightly bunched formation. Wilson, oh my goodness, they got him. The Commanders to jump.
I was sitting there going, no way they snapped this ball. But he got him to jump. Jalen Holmes.
Let's get the call.
Jalen Holmes.
Neutral zone infraction defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Johnny Newton.
It was at midfield. Thank you to Steelers Radio. It's at midfield, down 27-28, which ultimately was the final score. And Russ is in there. It's 4th and 1. You know they're not going to snap it and risk giving them at midfield, the Commanders, the ball with a chance to eke out of there with a win. And the freaking dude jumped. Game was over. And the Commanders fall to 7-3. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was totally wrong about that. Justin Fields, he's playing winnable football right now. Why are you going to mix it up with Russ? Russ has been pretty damn good. He had 3 touchdowns yesterday, flinging it around. And
that's the Jalen Holmes who came into the league with the Minnesota Vikings in 2018.
The Ohio State kid?
Yes. And we saw him earlier this year with the New York Jets. So I don't know if he got cut by the Jets and picked up or there was a trade. But that's Jalen Holmes, the former Viking, in that we just heard via the highlight.
It is.
Yeah, crazy.
He's still in the league. Unbelievable.
Now, Tomlin put an L on the Commanders, which aids the Minnesota Vikings because Washington drops to 7-3, but they can take first place by beating the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. And cool for wide receiver Mike Williams and cool for quarterback Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers used to glare at Williams when they were together with the Jets, like he was an absolute idiot after certain plays. And the Jets traded him to the Steelers, and Williams wins the game on a 32-yard hook from Wilson, who now is 3-0 as a Steelers starter. So Skull Russ, Skull Aaron Rodgers glares at receivers who leave and win games. And Skull former Packer Preston Wilson, who begged out of Green Bay.
Preston Smith.
All right, 3-2. And Skull Preston Smith, who begged out of Green Bay, gets to Pittsburgh, and in his very first game, he has a sack. So the Tomlin putting that L on the Commanders, that in a roundabout way aids the Minnesota Vikings. Atlanta. Holy cow, the Atlanta Falcons fell as road favorites to the New Orleans Saints.
46-yard try from Koo, who's made one.
Listen to that Superdome.
Now trying to tie the game. Snap, spot. Kick from Koo is away, and it hit the right upright. And bounds away. So the score stands. New Orleans 20. Atlanta 17.
Ooh, Mr. Durham.
The Saints beat Kirk O'Chains and did the Vikings an NFC-related solid. The Falcons are 6-4, and the squad behind them, the Bucks, have absolutely slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah,
and now are 4-6. The Motor City Kitties won last night. More on that later. The Green Bay Packers were off; they had a bye. How about your Bears? Your Chicago Bears.
Stevens in the single back, though. Hunter motions right. May with the play fake. In the pocket. Wide open receiver. Left hook. And it's an easy flip and catch for a touchdown. Patriots.
You have an adversity that hits you the first two quarters. And Drake May settles down on his drive.
Oh, WBZ.
The Bears couldn't muster a touchdown at home against the vaunted New England Patriots. And now have scored 175 points. All right. The Bears have scored 175 points this year, which is 2 fewer than the downtrodden Dallas Cowboys.
I always love that one.
And the Bears have played one more game than the Cowboys.
I always love that one.
The Bears have scored 8 more points this season than that offensive juggernaut down Charlotte, North Carolina way.
I always love that one.
They came to see Caleb Williams and left talking about fellow rookie Drake May, who at least threw for a touchdown and 64 more yards than Williams. Caleb ran for 15, Drake 24. The winds of negativity are swirling strongly in the old Windy City. Stay hot, boys. The Vikings are there in 13 days. Lavelle Neal III, noted Bears fan, joins 9 to noon tomorrow from the Vikings facility at 9:20. And finally, Jerry Jones built a stadium where the sun shines brightly through the glass from one end zone to the other. Now, I've been there before, but I guess I never knew this or never saw this. But at certain times of the day, when the sun is illuminating super brightly on one side of the stadium, well, it got to a situation yesterday where CeeDee Lamb couldn't see what would have been a touchdown catch because of said glare.
Yeah.
And he's not making it up. I mean, I saw it all over social media flying back last night.
You want all those mid-afternoon games, Cowboys fans?
How about that? Different angles of the glare. Here's the glare 15 minutes ago. Here's what it looked like when CeeDee. And then CeeDee, I mean, seriously, man, A, he's cool enough to wear shades, but B, he couldn't see the football. It was unbelievable because of said glare. Add that to the moronic decisions that have been made in the history of sports, like having the goalpost at the goal line and NHL goalies not wearing masks after the inception of the NHL.
I always love that one.
And see, the National Football League, the National Football, I mean, what are we doing here? Goalposts were originally kept on the goal lines, all right? But after they began to interfere with play, They moved back to the end lines in 1927. So we're in 1927, and we get the goalpost right. Now, they've remained in that spot in college football ever since. Ski-U-Mah college football, Ski-U-Mah. The National Football League moved the goalpost back to the goal line in 1933, then back again to the end line in 1974. I mean, what in the heck is happening? 41 years of idiocy having the goalpost at the end zone line. How does one even fathom that? And how does one even fathom having a stadium face away? The sun is going to set where you think you're going to have good teams, which means you're going to have 3 15 Central games. It's all just crazy.